Except for Elgiva Bwire, the self-confessed terrorist who pleaded guilty to a grenade attack in Nairobi 2011, no other terrorist comes to mind as having been successfully convicted. This despite the arrest of dozens of terror suspects after nearly every attack. It's no surprise, according to Homeland Security and counter-terrorism expert Tuta Richard, because of limitations of law facing the police as they gather evidence against suspects.
They do it undercover. And when they do it undercover, sometimes they use methods that are not allowed by the law. They use clandestine methods, things that you cannot take to any court of law and say, this is how we arrived at so and so, that he is a suspect. And that's why you will see, anytime there is such like an issue, no one can be charged in court because the evidence that they have, they cannot produce it in any court of law.
In addition, police run the risk of exposing their evidence-gathering tactics to the terrorists if their cases are heard in open courts. If the country is to make any headway, Tuta offers that the law governing the war on terror has to be rewritten.
Let's allow our police to give some of these evidences that they have collected in a clandestine manner undercover to a closed court session, so that the whole process will not be jeopardized. Because if today a police officer goes to court and says that the evidence that I have, this is how I collected it, I was given by so and so, what will happen next time?
In the meantime, police are left with little choice but to conduct swoops whose impact on the fight against terror is yet to bear fruit years on.
I think some of what they do, I will say, some of them ends up being just a PR exercise, and just to remind the public that we are in control. But the danger of it all is that we might end up being in what we call terrorism escalation trap. That you react, they act. You react again, they act. Because now what happens, it might serve again to radicalize people more. Because what happens that when you arrest even those who are innocent.
Tuwezi kusema kila siku hivi, tumesema tumewavumilia ya kutosha, sasa basi tufanye kazi.
We have been having what we purport to be counter-terror strategies, but we are still being hit by the terrorists. So that one is an indication that there is something wrong somewhere. And this is what we need to audit. We need to audit our intelligence. We need to audit our deterrent systems. We need to audit how we respond to terror, so that we know where is the problem.
The counter-terrorism expert is in support of the approach voiced by Mombasa County Commissioner Nelson Marwa, controversial as it may be.
Akipatikana, tunamumaliza on the spot.
These will target those who are making bombs. These will target the terrorist sympathizers. These will target their tactical commanders. Then that's it. It is being done by America. In fact, if there is a country that has carried out the more targeted killing in this world, America has carried over 300. Sometimes they even call it, they give it a nice name. They call it a drone attack. It is not a drone attack. But the problem is that if we do this as a country, they will call it extrajudicial killing.
He calls it the decapitation strategy, but he cautions that it must have sound legal backing.
The strategy they use is the same strategy that we should use against them. That is the only way. In fact, what we need is a tailor-made deterrence to target what they fear most, because it takes a network to beat a network. We cannot sit back and say, because these people are maiming, killing, and all that, that we should arrest them and take them to court. In fact, some of these people, how would you arrest them, surely? How can you arrest somebody with suicide vests all over?
Despite the limitations of law, however, it is no secret that terror suspects, including Samantha Lathwaite, also known as the White Widow, have walked out of police custody before being arraigned in court.
Terrorist suspects can buy their way from anywhere. They can compromise. They have the resources.
Scores of security experts believe time is ripe for an overhaul of the anti-terror strategy alongside the laws that dictate how the war should be fought. Sylvia Chabet, Citizen Live at 9.